Oh man, it's Friday night. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, talking football? And one pride comes in here. Mom got an interview for a six-figure job. That is fantastic news. And it's also good news to know that I have the settings set up correctly for this show and that you are able to leave comments. I got funk in the house too, man. So I am streaming to you live on Twitter, I am on YouTube, and I gotta mute this part here. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm streaming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So wherever you want to go, let's talk some football. All right, show's not going to be very long. I'm I'm just gonna level with you guys. I got a speeding ticket today, and the cops are just doing their job. I understand. I'm not mad, but it's just a couple $100 down the drain, and it's just been kind of a rough couple of weeks. It's been a rough couple of weeks. So the good news is my top 10 tight ends of all time video is going to be released Tuesday. I almost have it completed. I just got to do some clips. It's a good video. I think that you guys are going to like it. I really think you guys are going to like it. It's coming out Tuesday. And then, of course, as you can see on the ticker below, on the 17th, I'm going to do previews. I'm going in draft order, original draft order. So the first 5 videos are going to come out Monday through Friday. Hopefully I can do one a day. Doing these top 10 tight ends of all time video, one of the things I realized is that it's sometimes a little harder to kind of get things started making videos. So it may not go every day like I want, but ideally Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there'll be a new video in draft order. So week 1, it will be Chicago. Now I know Chicago didn't pick first, but original draft order. So, Chicago will be number 1. Kansas City will be 32. But it'll be Chicago, Houston, Arizona, Indianapolis, and Denver. Those will be the first 5, and it's just a matter of making the videos. It takes a little bit of time, and it takes a little bit of effort shifting from working 60 to 80 hours a week to getting on camera and just talking. So that's where I'm at. I don't have really a lot to talk about. Basically, what I wanted to talk about more than anything else is I just really wanted to answer some questions. I wanted to hear what you guys think. I kind of wanted to hear what you guys think. What things are you excited about going into training camp? I know for me personally, I'm kind of excited about the secondary because we have a lot of young talent as a Chiefs fan that's coming in, and it could be some really interesting training camp paddles. I'm also interested in the running back position. I'm interested to see because there's a lot of talk that our former first-round draft pick, Carlos Edwards-Helaire, CEH, could be cut. There's been a rookie free agent running back out of Tulsa who I knew nothing about. And he's been, I don't pay too much attention when media talks about him, but other players have been commenting about him on social media. And I think that there's a good chance he makes the team. So Raven 76 be more salute, man. What's up, brother? God, I would love to know what's going on in Baltimore. I would love to know. Because I think Baltimore is a team that, even though they got some hype with the OBJ, I really think that they're kind of being slept on, to tell you the truth. So I really think people are sleeping on Baltimore, and I'm looking at that team, and I'm looking at Raekwon Smith. I'm looking at Patrick Queen. I'm looking at maybe the best inside linebacker duo in the NFL. David Ojabo for me was a top 10 pick, and this is a guy that I really thought that. Because the former Michigan Wolverine defensive coordinator went to Baltimore to take over the defensive coordinator job, and him taking Ojabo after he recovers from the injury there's no ceiling on how good Ojabo can be. And now that he's recovered, can he earn a starting spot? If he does, how good could he be? Because I don't think that there's a ceiling on how good that. I'm looking at the Ravens front seven, and I know they lost Calais Campbell, but I'm looking at that front seven. I'm like, man, that's a dangerous team. One Pride asks, I haven't been busy with the God, there's a story I'm actually dying to share. I'm not going to, but I've had a very interesting situation happen. I'm actually dying to tell somebody about it because it's been I kind of fucked up. But so when we do a men's self-development channel, One Pride 40 says he's going to be a part of it. This is something I'm going to work on probably down the line. What happened in the last couple of weeks, I'm gonna talk about because it's funny. It's funny. It's Slashers in the house. It's official. Eagles are winning 13 games. I can't wait to do the Eagles. They're going to be my 31st team, and I can't wait. We have drawn. Yeah, he's holding out. And so by the way, for those of you that don't know, J.K. Dobbins. By the way, I had Dobbins ranked above CEH in the draft, but that's here and there. J.K. Dobbins has played in 23 games. He's missed 27, if I remember it correctly. But he's missed more than he's played, and he wants a long-term deal. I don't know how you do that. And the problem is that if he does have a good year, he's going to win a lot of money, understandably. I think if the Ravens want to overtake Cincinnati and Kansas City, we can throw Buffalo in there as well. I think they need Dobbins, and right now I don't think he's going to sign. If I'm correct, I know there's drama. I don't know the situation. To the best of my knowledge, he's not wanting to come in, and I think it's a very, very important part. Was it Mike Mohican, something like that? The guy you got from Georgia. I've been watching a little bit of the Georgia's offense because I kind of want to see how it translates because it's a run-heavy offense. A lot of people feel like it's going to be a completely different offense. I don't think it's going to be too much different. The one thing I think that you may see is Lamar run less, and I think that's important. So, but I do think in order to get to where you want to go, I think you need Dobbins. I really do. Oh, I got my boy Keys in the house. How many cups of energy? You know what? I did have an energy drink earlier today. It's the first one I had in a couple weeks. And I had a speeding ticket, and I'm going to blame it on that. So, I mean, I'm mad about the speeding ticket. I'm mad. If you live in the Kansas City area, so I drive in both Kansas City and Missouri. I'm like, I think I'm like 8 miles from the Missouri border. So on the Missouri border, it's more expensive on the Missouri side, and I got the ticket on the Missouri side, so I'm mad about that. But I had one energy drink. I have coffee in front of me. I don't need it. I have it. What's up, fellas? Go Lions. Hatter's House 710's in the house, man. What's up, Hatter's House, man? Go Lions. I seriously, the hype on the Lions is a lot of fun, and I love it. I love it. Week one's going to be tough. I love the hype, and I love the excitement, and the Lions fans that have come here. Lions fans have been fantastic. I'm going to pull for the Lions. I'm not going to try to jump on the bandwagon. Like I'm not going to be this guy in November if the Lions are 9-3 going, oh yeah, Lions. I'm not going to be that guy, but I am pulling for them, and the fans deserve it. The team's exciting. I don't know how good they're going to be. I'm not sold on Aaron Glenn. I'm curious what the front seven is going to look like. I'm curious how they're going to operate in the secondary. I wonder if the offense can keep things up. So, Dr. Detroit's in the house. What's up, fellas, man? I got some Detroit love in here today. I love it. Hutch will be better. I think he will be, and I'm kind of excited because I think that because you have some more pieces in the front seven and just year two. I mean, year two, there's such a big difference. It's not the same game. It's not like college basketball to NBA basketball, college football to football, the NFL football. It's a different game, and I do think he'll be better. I do think he'll be better. I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm really excited to see what he can do. One way or another, this will say, yeah, I think so. I think so. I really do. I mean, he got paid. So, yeah. If we can stay healthy, Baltimore's dangerous. Pray for the health of my team. You're 100% correct. I mean, everybody talks about OBJ and Dobbins and Lamar and Andrews and first name freeze. 11 minutes into the show, I had my first name freeze. Kid out Minnesota, the wide receiver, really loved them a lot. I got ESPN pulled up. I can go to the depth chart, but anyway, yeah, talent. But I'm looking at the defensive side of the ball because this is probably going to be Patrick Queen's last year in Baltimore. I mean, unfortunately, but he's going to get a lot of money next year. Probably not from Baltimore, but he's going to get a lot of money. He's really good. And you got Roquan Smith. Early on, he was Defensive Player of the Year. And I think even though he, got traded midseason to Baltimore, I think he got a few votes. I could be wrong on that, but oh God, I mean those inside linebackers are never going to leave the field. Never going to leave the field. Then you have Ojabo, no ceiling on what he could do. He changed his name. It's Odawe Ofa. Can he recover, make the next step? It's going to be that front seven's good, and then you got Marlon Humphrey on the back end. They haven't re-signed Marcus Peters yet. I'm kind of expecting that to happen, but it hasn't yet. So, but you still Humphrey's really, really good, folks. Really, really, really good. So I look at the Ravens defense. And then they got a bunch of talent on offense. I mean, balance wise, they're phenomenal. If they stay healthy, they're going to be a good team. And you want to think the Lamar contract could be another Kyler Murray situation? Well, when you say Kyler Murray situation, are you talking about the injury issue? Because I think injury wise, yeah. Because I mean, anytime you have a quarterback that runs as much as Lamar Jackson, and I'm kind of curious if that's what they're going to do. Is that, hey, are you going to continue to have him run the ball as much as he does? Because if he runs as much as he has the last couple of years, he's not going the last 17 games. And I thought that was one of the big issues about replacing the offensive coordinator is get him throwing more, handing the ball off more, using his mobility, but use him as there's a difference between mobility and running. I don't want him taking hits. And in the beginning it was, hey, we're going to let him play like he's played his whole life and let him do his thing. Well, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So are you referring to that or just being an albatross on your team? Because I mean, you could be both. So if you don't mind, clarify that. Clarify, are you talking injury or just albatross on the team? Keys, I don't agree. Lamar could have a solid year passing the ball and win a playoff game, and still he would be caught. I think there's people that's always going to call him a running back. But I'm really curious because you have a new offensive coordinator, and I think part of the reason you brought in new offensive coordinator is to have him running less. So if she gets that job, please let me know, and please send me pictures because that would be awesome. The very first Thanksgiving game at Arrowhead I was at, and it was a fantastic time. It was a fantastic time. It was electric. Keys is on fire today. Rumor has it that Dan has been pimping himself out as a companion at senior living facilities in the KC area to raise money for tickets to Taylor Swift at Arrowhead. This is a true story. I know a girl who is absolutely obsessed with Taylor Swift, And when Taylor Swift came to concert, she got to meet her and hugged her, and that was her picture on all of her social media for like 3 years. And there's like an unhealthy, I guess unhealthy relationship with celebrities that some people have, and she's one of them. And it's like I think like, you know, I'm hesitant to say this, but she's a big Bertha, and she probably just needs to lose some weight and start dating. And anyway, not me though. But nice girl, but just not for me. I'm friends with her dad, so let's just clarify that. Slasher, I don't know, but I don't think so. But I can really debate against it. I don't think he has the talent to really go far yet, depending on if Flowers pans out and if the quarterback can play 17 games. Are you talking about Lamar Jackson? I mean, I tell you the truth, I think that Baltimore team's really talented. I mean, the defensive front seven's really good. I think you need Dobbins, though. I do think you need Dobbins. And here's the thing. You don't need him to play 17, but you need to have him be healthy for the playoffs. If he plays 10 to 12, I think you can get to the Super Bowl if he's healthy during playoff time. So, yeah, that's what I'm hearing, and I don't think he's going to report to training camp. I think this is going to get ugly, and then I think he's going to sign before the season. So, Funk, 2 things will be cleared up. Won't be able to blame Roman as I myself have done it. I've been guilty too. And you won't be able to say he doesn't have a legit wide receiver. It's clear, put up or shut up, in my opinion. Great points. I could agree with that. The only thing I would say is that OBJ has not been able to stay healthy. So if he goes down early or misses significant time, then you can say he's not there. I actually forgot about Flowers completely, but he wasn't the receiver I was thinking of. I was thinking about the other guy out of Minnesota, and I'm just, there's a great chicken dinner place there. Which one? I'm a little confused about that. Are you talking about in Baltimore? Or, I'm sorry, Detroit. So I love the Lions hype though, man. This is just awesome. Oh my God, Denver Gators in the house. Bunch of football nerds. Oh man, Denver Gator, man. I got it right this week. I messed up last week. I have a speeding ticket today. I'm in a bad mood, but I'm super glad you're here. I'm super glad you're here, man. I'm super glad you're here, man. Been a rough couple of weeks, man. Don't expect. We are exactly 2 months away. It's September 7th, so we're 2 months away. We are 2 months away. And I haven't hit Luke G back, but the last time we talked, he agreed to come on Tuesday. So this year during football season, I will be live Tuesday and Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it just during the season or if I'm going to do it twice a week. We're gonna see how things go. But during the season, I'm going to be live Tuesday and Friday, and Luke G agreed to be on my first Tuesday show coming back on Tuesdays. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that I used to do Tuesday and Friday, cut down to just Friday. And I can't wait to go back on Tuesday because I'm really excited to talk Lions Chiefs with Luke G in a couple weeks. So, and it will be just in a couple weeks. I mean, 2 months away. I mean, that's what, 7, 8 weeks. That Tuesday will be 7 weeks. So I'm not going to the front. The Lions are coming up. So, I'm sorry. I'm not going to front the Lions. The Lions are a fun story. Well, obviously, exactly. Yeah. If he's healthy, well, you got Flowers. You got the kid from Minnesota who I'm drawing a complete blank on, and I love that dude. And I can't think of who that is. Mark Andrews is a really, really, really good tight end. Really good tight end. And you got some talent at receiver. Dobbins, when he plays, he's good. But that defense could be that. The thing, if I look at the Ravens, I'm looking at that front seven, and I'm looking at a front seven that could just be dominant. It could be one of the best front sevens. If Ojabo can live up to that potential, I mean, you could easily have a top 5 front seven. You might have the best front seven in football, and I say might because the team I think that might have the best front seven. I'm looking at New England's front seven, and I'm like, wow, that front seven looks really good. That's another team people I think are really sleeping on to New England, but some love for Denver Gator, man. Pride, I've gone twice to Turkey Day. Turkey Day game, once when I was a teenager, loved it, and once in my 20s. I won't ever go again on Thanksgiving. Being home just feels better with age. I can understand that. I definitely can understand that. Yeah. When we went, it was a night game, so we had like Thanksgiving, and then we got out there because I think it was a 7:30 game. It was the first night game, and it's different because like you can have Thanksgiving early. So we need a stud DT, another wide receiver, and a quarterback who can throw DT. Well, you got one in Hooker whenever he gets healthy. Yeah, and then when Williams comes back, you're going to see what you got. I'm kind of curious. You drafted in the 3rd round a kid out of Western Kentucky who I think might surprise you, and I really want to see how much he plays in preseason because he comes from a small school, but he's a big dude with some athleticism. He didn't go to combine, not a big name, but Dorsey's been and by the way, I'm fully aware John Dorsey's not the general manager there, but I really, really think that he has a big influence on what you're doing in Detroit because I watched what he did in Kansas City and watched what he did in Cleveland, and it's the same blueprint in Detroit. So, but this kid, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's a rookie out of Western Kentucky. He's a big dude. He's a stereotypical zero tech, but he has some athleticism. I wonder how he's going to be used because if he's playing, he's a guy who's like probably going to play like first, second down when if he can get up to speed, and that's if he can get up to speed, could make things really, really interesting for your front seven. So I still think we take an L in Baltimore. Tough play. Baltimore is a tough place to play. Baltimore is a very, 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 very tough place to play. On paper, the AFC North and East are going to be so much. Oh, yeah. It was funny. You're right, though, because Key says on paper, and if you remember, the AFC West was supposed to be brutal and ended up being a snooze fest. So, Bateman, that's it. Yes, Rashad Bateman. I love that kid. I was pointing, yeah, a lot of people were. Didn't Peters go to the Raiders? You know what? I should know that, but I don't. I don't know. I thought he was still a free agent. If he did go to the Raiders, that's actually a fantastic move for the Raiders. I'd be honest, I didn't know that. I'm embarrassed to admit that. When I start making videos, I'll be a little more in tune to the NFL. So don't expect to blow out week 1 if it was Patricia. Yeah, it's such a great storyline. It's Rocky versus Creed, David versus Goliath. It's such a great storyline. I think the NFL really got it right, even though it's not a rematch of the Super Bowl. You have a team that's up and coming versus a team that's the team of the NFL right now. And I mean, let's face it, Kansas City is the team of the NFL. So I think it's a great storyline and a great opportunity. And if the Lions win, oh my God, I hope you guys all do a lot of gloating. If the Lions win, I want to hear a lot of gloating. I want to hear it. You Detroit people looking forward to SummerSlam. If you know, I have not gotten to wrestling in a long time. However, one Pride said he was really excited about Taylor Swift showing up. So I don't know about that one. Pride matchup against the Lions with Patricia is far from a blowout. It was, by the way, if you don't remember, it was a very close game. It was just actually Patricia did some mismanaging of the clock and gave Mahomes if I remember correctly, I'd have to go back. It was like 206 or 213. So I was like I think it was 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. I'm like, you're not. That's a game. So Harbaugh and Lamar for 100%, Keys, 100%. Greg Roman, Harbaugh, offensive coordinator. He's better off as a run game coordinator. 49ers warned me about Greg Roman. It'll be interesting to see because I'd be honest. I know what they said. They were like, hey, we're just going to see. We're just going to have him do what he's comfortable doing. And instead of trying to change and put too much on his plate. And now we're going to see if he can do it. Cause I think like there needed to be a change and he has to be like an NFL quarterback, or are they going to run a college type of offense like they ran at Georgia? It's going to be real interesting. Indeed. I love seeing the fall of the Bloodline Gator. I'm assuming it's a wrestling thing. I know nothing about it. So if the Chiefs game's against the Ravens, the one season I blame Roman because they got away from the run game. If that was working, instead try to Lamar go head-to-head at passing with Holmes. I remember the playoff game against Tennessee. He threw like 59 times, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, you're 59 times against Tennessee. I think he had 2 or 3 interceptions, and they that was the year they had the 1 seed. And Tennessee beat them, and then Tennessee had to come to Arrowhead and lose in the playoffs. 2019, they had the 1 seed. Remember, they started off. If I remember right, they started off 1-2. Third game of the season was at Arrowhead, and I remember Nandi. I can't think of his first name, but number 91. He's like 5'11", 350. Just drove Lamar Jackson into the ground hard early in the first quarter, and Lamar didn't look right the whole game. And he was throwing some really bad passes. I was like, Nandi. And I said, you watch, people are going to watch this game and say, hey, if you just hit Lamar. So you watch, people are going to follow this blueprint. And then they won. They didn't lose again for the rest of the year. So, yeah. So it teaches me how much I know. But I remember that game. I remember he got jacked up really bad. And, it did, and it affected him, but then they adapted and didn't lose again for the rest of the year. And then they go play their first playoff game and throw the ball 59 times. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Again, this time it would be, yeah. One Pride gets it, by the way. Same here, brother. I do not get it. Cody Rhodes takes the title away from Roman. Okay, I don't get it, but I'm glad you guys like it. I don't follow it, but it sounds awesome. I'd still doubt it. One Pride Kansas City doesn't blow teams out unless teams provoke it. I spent 20 minutes last week thinking that chat. I am so sorry, Denver Gator. Last week, 100% on me. It's been a bad couple weeks, man. It's just been a bad couple weeks, punctuated with a speeding ticket today. So, but yeah. The off season flew by too. Oh yeah. Hey, listen. 10 days from my first preview video and first team on Breakdown some Bears. I just got to do the video. I can't wait for you guys to check out my top 10 tight ends of all time list. It's video. I think it's going to be really good. I hope you guys like it. Hopefully you guys really get a kick out of like in NFL history and where I'm putting the modern players versus the past players. And anyway, I'm pretty proud of what I've done so far, but I'm about halfway done. But it will be done Tuesday, like 90-something% sure. Yeah, it is. It is. So Key says Roman's run scheme is a beautiful thing. I'll say that. Don't forget. I did forget about Isaiah Likely and how are they going to use him? Do you put on the NFL 20? And are they going to use him as a tight end, or is he going to just be a big wide receiver, which he was last year, what he should be? So I tried to get Hurts and Kelsey again for the second year in a row. Last year, ended up having to settle for Lamar and Andrews. Worked out for a few weeks, and it really screwed me. You know what? I'd like to be able to do a fantasy football video. I probably won't get around to it, but if you do need some tips, you of course can DM me. I'll help you out. Anybody who's in a fantasy football league, it's got to be a paid for league. Don't come at me with some free shit. Don't bother me with some free shit. But I don't care if $5 or $100. I don't care if it's money involved. You need some help, you guys. All my social media links are below. Me and Keys message each other back and forth. Me and One Pride message each other back and forth. Me and Denver Gator, we were using Twitter. He has texted me now. And for you guys, our regulars, you want my number. I got my phone here. Shoot me a text. Part of this channel is building, kind of building a community. So Any way you guys want to communicate with me is great. I love it. Likely it's nice that you really make people miss injuries. No, he can't. And I wonder, to be honest with you, I think Likely really is a wide receiver. I don't think he's a tight end. And it's silly because he's 6'4", he's 240 or 250. And I wonder if Baltimore can just say, look, you're just going to be a wide receiver. And if you can just make him a wide receiver, it could be a lot of fun. If you try to make him block and be a stereotypical tight end, I don't know if it's going to work. I did forget about Likely, though. I completely forgot about Likely. There's no questions. Yeah, the kid out of Western Kentucky, your 3rd round pick, and I can't think of his name right now. That's a Dorsey pick. I guarantee you that's a Dorsey pick. I'm curious if Ravens fans in the chat are happy or scared Orlando Brown is protecting Burrow's blinds. So I actually would love to know that, because one of the things that he was famously ridiculed for is problems with speed rushers. And I mean, you got, it's funny because there's some good ones in the AFC West, but you're going to get TJ Watt, you're going to get Trey Hendrickson, and the other guy on the other side, kid out of Ohio State, another brain freeze. They gave him problems, but Cincinnati also drafted Myles Murphy, and it wouldn't surprise me if he gets in the starting lineup. He could be really, really good. That's actually a great question. By the way, Myles Garrett's no slouch either. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Do you still use Instagram? Yes. Me and One Pride. If you're following me, DM me anytime you want, James, about anything. It's actually funny. Me and One Pride, we've been watching. We've been talking about things from my other YouTube channel, which I want to get started in a couple years, probably a couple years. Doing men's self-development, working out is kind of a key one. It'll be fitness, men's basically men's self-development, because I think like society in a whole is really trying to keep men down. And I kind of don't want to rant about that too much, but in a couple of years, I'd like to do a second YouTube channel and talk about like things that are important to men. I think physical fitness is key. I mean, you don't have to be built like Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that, but I think it's important to be in good physical condition. And I think that's something that it's been kind of like pushed off to the side. So I'll be honest. I thought he was, but when I start doing my videos, I'll be a little more in tune. So. Not scared. Orlando is with the Bengals. He's good to run. So here's the funny thing, and this infuriated Chiefs fans. I don't know why, because it made sense. He goes with Burrow. It's going to be it's just a 3-step release. Where Mahomes, it's a longer release, so you got pass protect him longer. And that's just the way they run. It's more of a quick rhythm, throw offense in Cincinnati, where it's a lot more of a complex offense in Kansas City. Kansas City runs the most complex offense in the NFL. And, Mahomes holds the ball a little longer. And there's probably stats and analytics that differ. But I think Orlando Brown kind of knows what he's talking about here. And he thinks he's a better suit for the Bengals offense. I mean, he's with the Bengals. What's he going to do? Say, oh, I'm not really fit for this offense, even though they gave me all this money? No, it's no. And so I had no problem with what he said. It made sense, but it infuriated Chiefs fans. He is good with the run. And I think that he'll do well at the Bengals. The only problem is left tackle was their best position, but when their left tackle got hurt, another name freeze. Kid out of Alabama, 11th pick in the draft, holding out. They want to move him over to right tackle. He said no for right now. Jonah Williams, I'm sorry about that. So Jonah Williams is holding out. He was their best offensive lineman. He got hurt, and that's why they went with Orlando Brown. And so Jonah Williams is holding out. The plan for Cincinnati, that would be perfect if you can get Jonah Williams to go on the right side, and then if things don't work out with Orlando Brown, you could flip-flop them. I mean, Orlando wouldn't be happy. Jonah Williams would love it. I think Jonah wants a trade and sitting out. So that's going to be kind of interesting because they still have a hole at right tackle. So it's Rocky 2, right? The Rocky versus it kind of is. It kind of is. I mean, one thing Chiefs fans are really struggling with is that we're the beast of the NFL. You know, we're Ivan Drago, we're Apollo Creed. We're not the underdog, and Chiefs fans are really struggling with trying to pretend that we're underdogs. And no, we're not. I mean, we're the favorites. We're king of the hill. So. I was going to do my Bobby impression or, try to do Hank Hill saying Bobby. I can't do it. I'm not. She's jacked up the price to park in downtown Detroit. I think it's because I'm behind on comments. I missed that. Yeah. So what happened is they fumbled the ball in the end zone. Nobody touched it. And then a Chiefs player just grabbed the ball, started running. The referee never called it dead. And just checking Ravens, Bengals fans think Chiefs fans talking trash against Brown was us being sore. I was ready to move on by mid-December. It's going to be fun because it's going to be interesting because there's a good chance that when the Chiefs and Bengals play, the Chiefs have everything locked up and the Bengals, I don't think will. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun game. I think it's January 1st, if I'm correct, but a lot of people say Lamar can't throw. Watch his last season with Louisville on that pro-style offense. He was unstoppable. New offensive coordinator Todd Monken. I got the name wrong. I'm sorry. Brings that pro-style to Baltimore. I've been watching a little bit of Georgia last year, and I saw some pro concepts, but it was a lot of a college-based offense. They weren't really asking another name freeze. The kid he's now with, I hear he's doing fantastic in LA. The Georgia quarterback. Stetson Bennett. I'm hearing he's looking really good in LA. They didn't really ask him to do a lot, and let's face it, there weren't a lot of games where he had to make a lot of plays. There really wasn't. But I'm interested if they're going to ask him to run less, and that's what he should do. And I'm not saying Lamar can't play in a pro-style offense, but what they did is they really made things kind of simple for him. They were like, 1-2 run. They didn't really ask for him to do a lot of complex things. You have to tell me, but I didn't see a lot of audible with Lamar Jackson. Now, you've watched more Ravens than I have. Is that something that you're going to have him do? Because are you going to have him go to the line of scrimmage and like, hey, I'm going to just change plays on the fly, or is he going to have to do what he's told? Is it going to be, is he going to do some check downs? What I'm interested to see is also how much you see in preseason. I don't think you're going to see a lot. But I will say this. Do you remember last year in preseason, people were talking about the Patriots offense being bad? And then I was kind of poo-pooing it. I was like, it's just preseason. It carried over in the regular season. So offensively, I am worried. Like if you see some problems early on in preseason with the Ravens offense, it might carry over. So I'm anxious to see the Ravens offense in preseason. Defensively, I can care less what they do preseason. They can give up 40 points to every opponent. I wouldn't care. So Lamar didn't look the same after Ed Reed told him not to put his body on the line right before the playoffs 2 years ago. Maybe it was just coincidence. I remember that game. Well, it was longer. It wasn't 2 years ago, but I remember that game against Tennessee 59. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? So, but that might be it. I mean, he may be thinking, but here's the thing: he got his money, so there's a lot of questions about Baltimore this year, but the talent is there. It's going to be interesting. The Bengals will learn hard. I love it. This is awesome, by the way. You dropping your draft order on your video? 17. July 17th, and it'll start off with Chicago. Chicago will be Monday. Tuesday will be Houston, Arizona. Yeah, that's right. Tuesday will be Houston. Wednesday will be Arizona. Thursday will be Indianapolis, and then Friday will be Denver. And considering how long it took me to make the tight ends video, the goal is to do one every single day of the week, but it may be a struggle. It may be a struggle. There may be 1 or 2 days I don't get it done, but I will promise you this: all 32 teams will be done before the season kicks off. And because I might have to do a retraction. I mean, hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have something big like Andrew Luck retirement. We don't have anything like that. But injuries happen. I mean, there could be a trade, a holdout, something like that. I might have to go back and do another video or touch up on some things. But July 17th, and I hope I get some input from you guys. I'd love to know what you guys think of my opinions, and I really hope. I know Funk is I know James is an NFL history buff, and I know that you've given me shit about, like, if you throw an old time player out there, we're going to rant. I hope you enjoyed the video of my top 10 tight ends of all time. I got some old time players, and I think it's a good video. I'm really excited about releasing it finally. Antonio Gates was pretty good. He may or may not be on the list. I don't want to reveal it, man. I don't want to reveal it. But I think you guys are going to like the video. I really hope so. Rumor have it. Okay, so actually this is great, and okay. So listen, hey guys, listen. I'm behind on comments, but I want to touch base on this big time. I'm gonna scroll. I'm gonna star this. All right, because I'm about 10 minutes behind. I'm going to get some other comments. I'm going to come back to this, okay? I won my league 2 years ago and made it to the semifinals, having to scramble and replace Lamar and Andrews when they got hurt last year. About burned me out of fantasy. I understand that. I've heard KC and the Bills. I think it's telling him that he has some good offers from Tennessee and Patriots. I'm going to touch base on this too. I'm gonna go through some of these comments. I'm gonna touch back on that. If you're Monacan, do you couple the Eagles and go with quarterback scrums every third and fourth and short? I don't think so. And the reason why is that Jalen Hurts is a monster in the weight room. Lamar Jackson's more fast. So the block thickens with Hopkins. And I'm gonna touch base on that in just a minute. Don't forget Alex Highsmith for the Steelers. No. Alex Highsmith had 14 sacks last year. I remember his dad, Alonzo Highsmith, a player I really liked. That Steelers defense, I think a lot of people are sleeping on, and I think the Steelers are a team that a lot of people are really, really sleeping on. Because I think that with Watt and Highsmith coming on, they experimented with the former Jacksonville linebacker. Another name for you, Miles Jack. It didn't work. They benched him and then just released him. And yeah. Okay, it's not going to be just a workout channel, but there's going to be a lot of physical fitness tips involved. One Pride said that he was going to also, because he's been sending me things about Muay Thai and yeah, there's going to be a lot of physical fitness stuff in there. It's not going to be the primary focus, but it is going to have a lot to do with physical fitness. I'm glad. I'm kind of getting excited about doing this. So One Pride, he's been DMing me. I got blurry here for a second. So One Pride's been DMing me about doing some stuff for it. It's just a time issue right now. I just don't have it. But it's in the works. It's in the works. So hopefully you guys will be around when I get it up and going. I think without a doubt Brown will look better with Burrow and the Bengals offense, but I still think people underestimate how much he can be set up. One thing I've noticed about the Bengals run the ball more, and Brown's better in the running game. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But when they let Samra Piron, something, he's in Denver, when they let him go, I'm like, there's some mileage on Mixon, and he's had some injuries, and I thought he was a valuable backup because if I remember right, I think he had over 100 yards against Buffalo in the playoffs. I could be wrong about that, but that was a key loss that people are really overlooking in Cincinnati, and I think that if you have to rely on Joe Mixon and you don't have that key backup there, that could be a lot of that could cause problems. Because what would you do is that you could literally put 3, drop 8 back into coverage, and Orlando Brown's not going to be able to cover a long time against a speed rusher, and Burrow's not really much of a threat to run the ball. So our team's going to play Cincinnati like that, where they just say, we're going to dare you to run at us. I was I think it was America's game. Yeah, it was America's game. I was watching the 1990 Giants. I loved America's game. I watched them all. They just released the Rams. I haven't watched that yet, and I haven't watched the Bucks, the 2021 Bucks. I haven't watched it anyway. But I was watching the Giants when they played the Bills, and Belichick, he was defensive coordinator of Giants. He says, we're going to let Thurman Thomas run for over 100 yards. And all the players are like, what? And he's like, look, you guys are going to have to trust me because here's what we're going to do. We're going to beat the receivers up. We're going to drop a lot of people into coverage, and we're going to force them to run the ball. Thurman Thomas only had 15 carries, but he had 135 yards rushing. And I'm wondering if teams are going to play Cincinnati like that and say, we're gonna double team Chase. We're going to try to bracket your other receivers, and we're just going to put maybe 2 or 3 on the line and just run the ball. And there's a possibility. And here's the deal. This sounds like I'm talking nuts, but look at their opponents. Teams like Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland can do that. You could put Myles Garrett on one end, put another guy. You could put a 3-man line with Myles Garrett and just say, we're going to drop 8 back. Good luck. Just throw the ball. And I'm really curious if teams are going to approach Cincinnati like that, because there's a chance that it could work. Orlando did get better in Kansas City with pass pro, though. Andy helped them with his technique even more. I don't know about that, Dan. Chris Jones joined Sack Burrow from the left defensive end in the AFC Conference Championship game, so he does hold on to the ball a little bit. Now remember, they had a lot of starters missing from the offensive line. I do things, bro. Yeah, I do too. Oh no, you're not flipping right. I'm wondering. Well, keep in mind, I say that because Jonah Williams was a pretty good left tackle, and I don't know. Probably not. But Jonah Williams has no interest playing on the right side. It's requested a trade. They haven't traded him yet. It wouldn't surprise me if going into training camp, if a left tackle goes down somewhere, if the team ends up making a trade for Jonah Williams, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Keys, that doesn't count. It's Christopher Jones. We might be now, Dan, but we're definitely some idiots out there who had made us underdogs last year, like Adam Rank of the NFL Network last year, picking Kansas City, finished 4th. There's always people. Here's the deal. It's just human nature. People want to be underdogs. It's just human nature. People want to be underdogs. And the one thing I've encouraged Chiefs Kingdom to do is stop acting like that and be the bully, be Ivan Drago, be the favorite, and enjoy it, because once this dynasty is over, and it is a dynasty, once it's over, I don't think it's going to come back. I really don't. I mean, once it's done, I think it's done. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but I encourage Chiefs Kingdom to, while it's last, enjoy being the favorites of the NFL and enjoy the fact that we're the team to beat. And because I don't think it's going to last forever. I mean, there's a lot of I've heard from several Chiefs fans Kelsey's going to play for another 5 years. Kelsey turns 34 early October. I don't really see it coming. A lot of people think Andy Reid's going to coach as long as Mahomes is there. I don't see that either. And I think that if one or two of these guys go, and I've been adamant, I think this is Kelsey's last year. I really do. When it's done, it's done. And I think Chiefs Kingdom should really enjoy the fact that we're kings of the NFL, and just enjoy it as long as you can. Because it's a great time. There's never been a better time in the history of the Chiefs, which goes back to 1960, than right now. And I love it. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Orlando struggles with elite pass rushers and line stunts. He was still coming from the edge of the slasher, not even from the blind side. Fair enough, although I think the Bengals' O-line problems are blown a little bit out of proportion. They had a better line last year than I'd say more than half. Well, no, you're right about that. But going into the playoffs against Kansas City, they were missing 3 starters, and that was a problem. That was a problem. I don't know why Buffalo didn't take advantage of it, mainly because they invested a lot of money in Von Miller, who wasn't healthy, but they didn't take advantage of the offensive line problems. And then they scored 10 points. So, I'm thinking Monacan will open up the Ravens offense. Last few Georgia quarterbacks, not really mobile or pro ready. Lamar can be a threat running and throwing. Tight ends will definitely benefit in this offense. I'm kind of curious because me and you are going to have a conversation come draft time about this kid Bowers out of Georgia. They have the tight end coming out of Georgia, and Bowers, who is unfreaking believable, and he might be the best tight end prospect I've ever seen. Now, Denver Gators boy out of Florida with the Falcons. Another name freeze. I get embarrassed by this, but I'm really bad with names. This is why you always call your girl baby, because I'm bad with names. I can't think. I can't. But anyway, he was the best prospect ever seen. Now there's this Bowers kid coming out of Georgia who's a better prospect, because there's a chance this kid out of Georgia, this tight end out of Georgia, could go number 3 in the draft, and that's just crazy. Orlando also struggles getting set up. All defender has to do is step to the outside or line up at the outside. Orlando can't reset his feet fast enough. The defender cuts back inside. There's a lot of questions in the NFL this year. Half the league has new head coach quarterback combos or offensive coordinator. There is. Being a Chiefs fan makes the top 10 list pretty easy. LOL, you always had the top 20. It's funny, Denver Gator. I remember before Gonzalez, we kept on struggling with find a tight end. And kind of a side note, I had a buddy of mine who worked at an Italian restaurant called Garozzo's, really good food. And he said Carl Peterson and Marty Schottenheimer used to come in. He goes, so in February, he's like, yeah, man, they brought this guy and he looks like a swimmer at something Gonzalez. He's from California. And I was like, it's Tony Gonzalez. And he's like, yeah, that's his name. Real nice guy, but he's not really built like a football player. He's built like a swimmer. And I was like, yeah, he plays basketball. And he's like, yeah, that's right. And anyway, he said that every time, apparently he came into Kansas City like 4 or 5 times. And my buddy Chris would tell me, oh yeah, they brought in Tony Gonzalez again. Do they always do this? And I was like, I think this is kind of an exception, but the Chiefs were picking 18th, and I was like, he's not going to go to 18th. And the Chiefs traded up to 13 to get him. So it was kind of fun. It was kind of neat. But yeah, I remember back when we didn't have good tight ends. Denver Gator, do you agree with Dan that Sean Payton can or won't adapt his offense for Russ skills? I don't think it's going to work, bottom line, and hopefully he can for Denver's sake. But that's a good question here. I don't think so. Ditka better be on this. We will find out. It's coming out Tuesday. Keys, I love Dan, one of the smartest guys I've known, but I think he's way off. Last year with Hackett was a joke shit show for Rush and the whole organization. Maybe not playoffs, but maybe more disciplined. Hope disciplined, yes. But I know what I saw in Seattle. I know what I saw in New Orleans, and I don't see Russell Wilson having that same skill set. So Ben Powers is a good offensive lineman. Broncos will be pleased with him. Yes, he is. Have Ravens already heard some high praise for Powers? I think you're right. Denver is consistent. Never heard priced himself out of Baltimore. Played lights out this past season. Hate to see him leave. Bengals fan Jonah Williams was. I thought he was their best offensive lineman. So I'm thinking the Broncos may have the best offensive line in the last. Yeah, because they finally got the right side fixed, and then your left tackle. Fuck, I can't believe I'm having another name freeze. Kid out of Utah, absolutely loved him, and he was on the fence, and then finally Fangio. I don't know why I said Pagano. Fangio. Finally, like, no, you're my guy, and then he got hurt last year. If he comes back, he has all the tools to be a Pro Bowl left tackle. He's really good, but he got hurt, so I don't know if you can really just, bring him back. So, yeah, no, you do not. Nothing will be to pay Pat's dynasty. No, that a 20-year dynasty will probably never be done again. Drago. That's real talk. Dude, I'm serious. I'm almost dreading the season to start because it's an all-time great Super Bowl. It's an all-time great team, and I want to enjoy it because it's 5 straight. And here's the thing: people are really overlooking it because the Patriots did 7 straight. But yeah, it's Kyle Pitts. I'm sorry. I am enjoying it. I don't want it to end. But I know once it's over, it's over. And I don't want it to end. And I'm loving it so much. When you sit out negative 20-degree weather to watch a 2-win team play, you enjoy it a little more. And that's what happened in 2012. So, and you're right. You're right. You are Rocky. But just they lost Trayvon Edmonds. Don't forget Leslie Frazier sitting out this year, some sort of sabbatical. I don't know exactly what it is, but Trayvon Edmonds is a big loss, man. I mean, that was a really good young player, and they signed Poyer instead, and then they still lost some players, so it's interesting. So whatever he hits, he destroys. I am embarrassed about that. I really am. I am so sorry, Denver Gator. But yeah, so when the draft comes up, who's a better prospect, Kyle Pitts or Ben Powers out of Georgia? It's going to be very interesting. And I want to do it before the combine because I don't think Powers is going to test out as well as Pitts. There's a lot of Chiefs fans who straight up believe Kansas City is invincible because of Mahomes. So I don't think what you perceive as wanting to be the underdogs is them fighting against those who don't see it. I find it annoying. I firmly believe any given Sunday and believe in respecting any opponent. There's reason you hear Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, etc. always give. Yeah, there is. I'm not going to lie. I really wanted Menares. I'm drawing a name freeze on Menares. If the Broncos receivers come back healthy and stay healthy, it's a shoot. It really is. I mean, they got a lot of talent. Oh crap! I forgot his first name. I know his last name's Williams. Jameson Williams. He looked like he was going to be a superstar. He looked like he's going to be a superstar. And then Simon Pedrine, the guy I was talking about, Cincinnati, left to go to Denver. That's a nice 1-2 punch. I think if the Broncos go with a run-heavy team, I think they could be dangerous. I don't see Sean Payton doing that. So the belly of the beast. Why am I drawing a blank on this guy? Pat's dynasty will never be toppled like the Rams' session with Big Bertha's. That said, I'm interested to see what Peyton does. Pete Carroll gave the NFL the blueprint to expose Rush, but the rest of the NFL ignored it. All right, I want to go back to these comments here. Rumor have it Kansas City's favorite to sign DeAndre Hopkins. I keep hearing this over and over again, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I think Keys sent me some stuff. Our receiving room is stacked. Second round pick on a wide receiver this year. Second round pick last year on a wide receiver. People think Justin Ross is a first round pick. I'm not even sure he makes the team. For those of you that don't know, receiver out of Clemson, had some real good highlight reel stuff, but had some injury issues, undrafted rookie free agent. Had a one-handed catch in training camp 2 years ago. Chiefs fans still think he's the number one receiver. I don't know if he makes the team. John Ross, former number one receiver. Another guy may not even make the team. All right. We still got an MVS. We traded for Kadarius Toney. We got some really good tight ends. I think that we're going to keep 4 tight ends. I think last year we kept 7 wide receivers. But I don't see any point in bringing in DeAndre Hopkins. I'll be honest. I think the Chiefs are better suited because wide receivers now becoming a very high paid position. Is that you got MVS, and then you got 3 young guys. You got Kadarius Toney, you got Sky Moore, and you got this rookie Rashee Rice, and they're talking about like Rashee Rice is going to be more ready to play than Sky Moore was last year. Sky Moore may have more upside. By the way, people are raving about Sky Moore in training camp, and Mahomes has been talking about him. And I kind of like, well, it's preseason and training camp hasn't even started, but there's a lot of hype about Sky Moore, and I think there's a lot of people that are going to be. I think Sky Moore's a guy. It wouldn't surprise me he has 1,000 yards receiving this year. But you got Kadarius Toney, you got Sky Moore. You got Rashee Rice. You got MVS. I don't see DeAndre Hopkins coming to Kansas City. I don't see it. I really don't. And I'll be honest with you. I think it's kind of a cat and mouse game. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I think he's going to end up with Tennessee or New England. And I think that he's using the Chiefs as leverage to get more money out of Tennessee or New England. And I think that's smart. I don't see him fitting in Kansas City, DeAndre Hopkins. I really don't. And every time I hear Chiefs fans talk about it, I kind of like just like I don't see it. You know what? I'm using ESPN. ESPN's not the best source to use for depth chart, but wide receiver. Let's look here. I forgot about Richie James. We also signed Justin Watson to a 2-year deal. I forgot about Jerron Ely. I don't even know who this guy is. Amir Smith Marset, Iowa kid, Keys. We got from Minnesota. I think we picked him up via free agency. Cornell Powell, 5th round pick last year. He was cut, and I think he signed to a practice squad. And by the way, Powell has talent. I don't see DeAndre Hopkins coming to Kansas City. I really, really, really don't. I would be floored. I think the best spot for him would be Tennessee. That's what if I'm Hopkins, I'm doing everything I can to get as much money out of Tennessee because that's kind of the place that I think he'll end up at. Reuniting with Bill O'Brien in New England would be dangerous. So, so I'm behind on the comments here. So, I don't know if I'd say a receiving room is stacked, but I do think Kansas City is moving to more 13 personnel anyway. I agree with that too. The Chiefs during the playoffs used a lot of 2 tight end personnel. I was really, really surprised. They used a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets, and I think we're going to see more 2 tight end sets than we did last year. The Chiefs are really, really high on Noah Gray. They're also really, really high on Fortson. Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy besides Fortson I was thinking of? They don't have that list here, but and then you still got Blake Bell. So I don't really see Rice getting many touches as a rookie. Tony has to prove he can stay healthy. MVS hasn't really shown he's the guy. We hope more is great. Kansas City lost about 1,300 snaps from McColl and Juju. I think you're going to be really surprised. Rice is going to play more than you think. He's going to play more than more, and I think he's going to be much more productive. I think you're really going to – I'm going to tell you something right now. I think you're really going to like Rice. I think you're really going to like him, but I think Moore is really going to make a big step. And MVS is a guy that he's going to be a starter, but he's always going to be a guy. He'll have like a game where he has like 6 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Everybody think he's a great player. And then next week he'll have 1 catch, 7 yards, and a drop or 2. But he's going to be a starter, and he's got good deep speed. But he's a guy who's going to be a starter. As far as being stacked, I wouldn't say we're stacked, but when you have a lot of money going to Chris Jones, you have a lot of money going to Mahomes, and you have a lot of money going to Kelsey, you sign Jawan Taylor to a 4-year, $80 million deal. You have to make cuts somewhere. And I think what the Kansas City Chiefs are looking at is the wide receiver position. And look, the premier position right now in the NFL besides quarterback is wide receiver. These guys are making $30, $35 million a year. So what I think Kansas City's doing, saying, look, we're going to sign young receivers. You pan out. You move on to bigger, greener pastures, just like Juju Smith-Schuster did. He had a good year in Kansas City. Signed for big green pastures in New England. And by the way, that's going to be a good thing for New England if he stays healthy, of course. So, but I think you're going to be surprised. I think Rice is really going to surprise you. And we'll see in preseason how much he plays. But I think you're really going to like Rice. I do think Sky Moore looks way better this season, but I still have to see it all. At the end of the day, I don't lose sleep spending time thinking about D-Hop. If Andy and Brett want him, then okay. If they don't, okay. Yeah, I really think that the DeAndre Hopkins in Kansas City, I think it's a smokescreen. I really do. I think he's going to end up in either New England or Tennessee. And I think Tennessee's going, I think will give the most money, and I think they should. They need him there. Who has the fastest receivers between Kansas City? Oh, Miami. Oh yeah, Miami. Waddle, it's funny. Everybody talks about Tyreek Hill, and I get why. But Jalen Waddle, oh my God. Every time I watch Miami, the Waddle just stands out. He is so good. Yeah, Rice is going to be really good. Yeah. Yeah. MVS can fly, but he's not on that level. Tony's not, believe it or not, Tony's a 4.55 guy, but he plays faster than he plays faster on the field. Sky Moore and Rice, it's funny. I think Moore, 4.45 guy, and Rice is a 4.55 guy, but he's about 6 foot, 205. I'd like to see him put on some more size because he's not a guy that is going to blow by you, but he runs really good routes and really, really, really good hands. I completely forgot about him. I completely forgot about MSM. I'm going to go ISM. I'm just going to call him ISM. I'm going to go with you on that, but so I pulled up ESPN. I completely forgot about him. I think that's correct, but I'm not 100% sure. I wish I could tell you with 100% certainty, but I know they're doing some interesting stuff. I'm not sold on Miami. I'm not sold on McDaniel at all, but I don't see him in Detroit. Oh, Hopkins. No. I think New England would make a lot of sense. I don't know how good of a relationship him and Bill O'Brien have, but the one thing I will say is that if they do have a good relationship and he goes there, they'll be able to incorporate him into the game plan. But I really think when everything's said and done, I think it's going to be Tennessee, and that just makes a lot of sense. It just makes a lot of sense. They really need a guy there. And man, Denver Gator's going to get mad because it's his boy. I'm got several name freezes today. And I know he's number 3 on the depth chart, but Will Levis, I think, will be the starter sometime this year. I think Will Levis will be the starter sometime this year for the Tennessee Titans. And I think having a guy like DeAndre Hopkins will just speed up his development. So that's kind of what I think. Best football chat on net, everyone. Dude, seriously, there's so many good guys here. I mean, the Detroit fans here are just amazing. By the way, if you haven't, if you check out the links below, check out Keith's show. Usually they go on Saturday night. I can't wait for them to go on a regular schedule. I can't join the show on Saturday night, but him and the Back Talk brothers, him, Gooch, and Aaron really have some good points. Really, really smart stuff. It's really good stuff. And when he comes on the show, he just adds a lot. As a guest, Keys is A+. Gooch, not here today. He mentioned something about a big Bertha that he was going out with. But actually, I made that up. But yeah, some really good stuff. Denver Gator is on the ball. Last year, he was doing picks videos. If you followed Denver Gators picks, you made some money. Followed mine, you lost money. I had a rough year last year doing sports betting. I'm going to back it up this year. This year is going to be good. I think I'm really going to like Rice, too. I think he's going to be a cheaper, younger, healthier Juju. He's going to be a blank slate who will be humble enough to be better than Juju by listening to Kelsey. I think you're really. I'm thinking he's going to have about 40 to 50 catches year one, but I think Sky Moore is going to health wise, barring injury. I think Sky Moore is going to have a big jump. I wouldn't surprise me if he has like 70 catches, 1,000 yards, and I think Rice is going to have like 40, 50 catches, and Kelsey's going to produce. MVS is going to do the same production, and then it'll be interesting to see who the last couple of receivers on this team are. And for those Chiefs fans that think that Justin Ross is going to make this team and start, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not arguing for D-Hop, and Kansas City was willing to pay Tyreek upwards of $26-27 million a year until the Adams trade, new contract. If they're about to get D-Hop the close to Odell money, I think it's a no-brainer. Well, here's the deal. You're right. I'm not debating that, but here's what they did afterwards. They used a second-round pick on Moore. Then they traded a third and I think it was conditional 6 for Tony. Then they drafted Rice. So I think the focus is okay, we had Tyreek. Because originally I think what they were going to do is like, hey, we're going to have Tyreek, we're going to have Kelsey, we're going to have Mahomes, and then we're just going to build everything else. So now I think that what they're going to do is that they're going to say, okay, we're going to use our money in all sorts of other different places. Kelsey, he's locked in. We got Mahomes locked in. We're going to overspend on, and I do think it's an overspend on Jawan Taylor. And that's another thing. Is he going to play left tackle? Is he going to play right tackle? But yeah. Like I asked you a couple of years ago, would you offer D-Hop ET? Oh yeah. A couple of years ago. I don't think you do it this year. Because you're Bill O'Brien. I hope nothing. You know what? I loved Melvin Gordon coming out of Wisconsin. I thought he possibly got screwed out of Heisman. So here's the deal. He had over 2,000 yards. I think he did get invited to the Heisman ceremony. But what happened is Ohio State was on the outside trying to get into the BCS championship game. And they played Wisconsin. Wisconsin, I think, was 8-4, something like that. And Ohio State won 59-0. And that just ruined Melvin Gordon's chances for the Heisman. And it kind of sucks because like that year he was really, really good. But you lose 59-0 in the Big Ten championship game, regardless, you're not going to go. But Iowa fans called him ISM, but then you wouldn't have known who I was talking about. No, I would not have. I would not have. Nuke would be pretty sick. Oh God! Don't even. Oh no! No! That would really suck. You know where he could go, and it would really suck would be New England too. New England or Pittsburgh. I think Richie James actually makes 53 plays, but yeah, I think he does too. He plays special teams at over 500 yards last year. He had that year with Kafka, so he already knows the terminology a bit. I think he makes the team, and I don't know if he contributes on offense, but we need special teams guys. And here's the thing, you can't count on Cardavius Toney playing 17. You can't. So a guy like James, I think you need. And that's why I don't think Justin Ross makes this team. He's not a special teams guy. But I'm looking forward to Justin Ross and John Ross. I'd love to be proven wrong because, I mean, John Ross, I'm our 9th overall pick. I watched him out of Washington, and there's so much potential. And if you're going to succeed anywhere, it's a guy with 4.22 speed in Kansas City. I mean, if you can't succeed here, I don't think you do. If John Ross doesn't make the team here, I think his career might be over. Maybe he goes into coaching, or I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know if he wants to go into coaching, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Justin Ross, I don't think makes this team, but there's a lot of Chiefs fans that think he's going to be a starter. And it's like, let's wait and see. So it's going to be fun preseason. If the Lions beat the Chiefs week 1, there will be a weekly Lions show on this channel for the rest of the year. One pride, if the Lions beat the Chiefs and you don't send me 50 DMs, I will be disappointed. I will be very, 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 very disappointed. I still think it'll be hard for Rice to have a lot of snaps, not arguing the production, just saying the snaps. Each single route is an important role in Indy's offense. I get that. Tyreek Hill's rookie year, and I'm not looking this up, but I'm just spitballing it. I think had 50 receptions, and he was a former running back, learning wide receiver. And Andy Reid found a way for him. Now, keep in mind, Sonny Dykes, he left to go from SMU to TCU, and he led TCU to a national championship. He was the coach at SMU. They had kind of an intricate offense at SMU. And then this year is kind of a run and shoot, high volume passing offense. And the one thing about Rice is just his hands. And I think Andy Reid will allow him a little more playing time than Moore, because Moore was a former quarterback turned cornerback turned wide receiver playing in the MAC. And then they wanted to put him on special teams, and that was a disaster. But they remedied that. And remember, he had that nice punt return against Cincinnati, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays special teams this year. I kind of doubt it, but I think Rice will play a lot more, and I think his skill set's a little different than Sky Moore. I think he'll be a little more prepared for the offense than Sky Moore will. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. A lot of questions. Justin Ross had so much potential at Clemson. Injuries hindered him. Ross plays like T. Higgins. He does. And that's what Chiefs fans are seeing. Okay, so there's this one-handed catch he made in training camp, and it was impressive. And people saw that, and it blew up. And people are like, he's going to start for the Chiefs. And it's like, calm down. Calm down. And then, he ended up on IR. I don't remember what it was, but a lot of Chiefs fans think that Justin Ross is going to start. I hate to tell you this, you can't stay healthy in college. It's really hard to say you're going to stay healthy in the pros. It's going to be a great storyline. I don't think he makes the team. I would love it if all that potential can come out. That's just good things for the Chiefs, but I just don't see it. I really don't see it. And I'm looking at all these other players that make sense. I don't see it for Ross. So it'll be hard for Rice to learn enough of the playbook early on, but I'd be thrilled to be wrong. Just remember, Tyreek Hill is a rookie. You know what? I probably should look it up. I'm pretty sure Tyreek Hill had 50 catches as a rookie, and they just found a way. And I think that the Chiefs are going to do the same thing with Rice. And I think that his offensive skill set's a lot different than Sky Moore coming from the MAC. So I think it's a little different, but I think he's going to play a little more than most people think. Michigan State just got a 4-star wide receiver, and that's another thing is that one probably sending me stuff about Michigan State, which I think is really cool because I'm really interested about the Big Ten. I think next year, I believe it's next year, USC and UCLA are going to join the Big Ten, and that's going to be very, very, very interesting. Justin Ross had so much hype in Kansas City, isn't even fair to him. I'm rooting for him. I'm also scared for him. He has to prove he can stay healthy. Yeah, exactly. And ever since people got a hold of that one-handed catch in training camp or it was like mini camp or something, the hype just went out of control. And you have to understand, like, we see it. I don't think the Chiefs organization can care. So I love Gordon all the way up to where he's oh my God, that's a good one. That's a good one. RHH, me too. Ndamukong Suh. And if you can spell Ndamukong, good luck to you. You should just put Sue, but yeah. I think Watson is the break glass of emergency wide receiver. Yeah, I do too. Hopkins Ravens 76. Oh, you're talking about DeAndre Hopkins. I thought you were talking Ndamukong Suh. I'm bad. I was thinking Ndamukong Suh. Oh, all right. What the fuck do I know, man? I dropped the ball. Man. I'm telling you. I don't know what the fuck am I talking about. Can't even get names right. If John Ross can't make it as a wide receiver, a team in the AFC North should switch him to edge rusher and let him go against. I could possibly get Angela Knight to do her man self. I don't know who she is, but then I started looking at her, and she follows One Pride 40, so that's awesome. And by the way, it's going to be cool. It's going to be some physical fitness. What happened the last 2 weeks will be one of the first shows that we do. These last 2 weeks is going to be something that we're going to talk about on the show, like almost immediately. Weird 2 weeks. You're right about this. I think Tyreek is a little different because his speed allowed him to be brought in for screens, jet motion, deep ball, etc. You are right. 270 snaps as a rookie. Yeah, I really think that we're going to see. I really, really think that we're going to see Rice do something pretty similar. I sort of kind of. Because he's a big body guy with really good hands, and he's known for his route running, and I think that's something that Andy Reid's really, really, really going to like. Tyreek had 61 receptions on 81 targets his rookie season. Again, not discounted in production, just the snaps. 1,300 are gone from free agency, and Sky has 181 pass snaps, so 89 left. Okay. Sky had 181 pass snaps last season, so 89 less than Tyreek's rookie season. He had 22 receptions on 32 targets. I think double that for Rice is and I think maybe more than double. So by the way, he won a Super Bowl here. I think he's a free agent, but I really, really liked Melvin Gordon. I've always been a Melvin Gordon fan. I liked him with the Chargers. I thought it was a great signing with the Broncos. I thought last year, because he signed late with the Broncos, and then and I thought it was great. And I remember early on, he complained about, like, oh, they're wanting Javonte to be the man. I'm not even getting an opportunity. And I'm like, this is a situation you just need to shut the fuck up. And then he talked, and then he fumbled. So she was on Fresh and Fit. I'll have to look that up. I know, because I'm kind of this is, a little off topic here. I'm still a fan of Fresh and Fit. One Pride 40 isn't. So Tyreek was only 6. Yeah. Double the receptions, targets, or are you saying double the snaps? I think yes. I think everything. I think that what you're seeing from Sky Moore, I think double that with Rice, because I think Sky Moore is more of a was more of a project, and I think Rice is much more of a finished product. I think Rice is going to come in. I think as I liked about Sky Moore is that I was looking forward to what he can do this year, not what is he going to do as a rookie. I wasn't expecting much out of him. I'm expecting a lot more out of Rice. I basically, the production that you got from Sky Moore, I think double everything: snaps, targets, receptions. I think that as the season, and I also think as the season goes on, you'll see a lot more of Rice. But I mean, if Tony plays 17, I don't want to see him off the field, but I'm not counting on it. I want to see Sky Moore play 17 games. I'd love to see that. MVS, if he's healthy, he's a starter. Kelsey's our number one wide receiver. I don't care what anybody says. We're going to see a lot more of a 12 and 13 personnel. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. He is not by the way, One Pride 40 is not a Fresh and Fit fan, for those of you who know who that is. I am a Fresh and Fit fan. I followed Myron before he started Fresh and Fit, and I'm a big fan of his. I'm a fan of their show, but what One Pride 40 sent me, I get why. I'm gonna get away, because there's a lot of things that what you sent me I really want to talk about that would probably get me kicked off of YouTube and on the whatever podcast. I'm not sure. I don't think I know who that is. I don't think I know who that is. The one thing about Tyreek Hill was I thought he was a 5th round pick. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So what the Chiefs did when he was a rookie, we had a guy by the name of DeAnthony Thomas, and we used him as a runner receiver, and then we actually put him at running back. We couldn't really find a position for him, and then Tyreek Hill came in. I remember they interviewed DeAndre Thomas, and they were like, "Hey, this Tyreek Hill guy's a lot like you," and he got very defensive. He's like, "No, he's nothing like me. We're different. We're completely different type of players," and you could tell. I remember from that interview, I'm like, so this Tyreek Hill guy must be doing pretty good. That was the impression I got, because he started taking snaps away from DeAnthony Thomas, and then they traded him, I think, at the Baltimore. So, but the thing with Tyreek Hill is he was a former running back who was just learning to play wide receiver. And give Tyreek Hill a ton of credit, because he worked his ass off to learn route running. He had better hands than people thought. But yeah. He was a 5th rounder. Okay. And it was funny because in the 4th round, they drafted Demarcus Robinson. He was in Baltimore last year. And Demarcus Robinson was off a lot of boards. I think he had some failed drug tests. But at one point in time, a lot of people said this is a guy had 1st-round talent. And I kept on thinking that the light's going to go off, and he'd have like 1 or 2 games where he'd have like 8 catches, 150 yards. And I kept thinking that Demarcus Robinson's going to be out. He never panned out. And he was in Baltimore last year. He didn't play terrible, but there's a reason why they brought in OBJ. So Jeremy Maclin got 508 pass snaps as a rookie. I want to say that's the most for an Andy Reid rookie wide receiver, 55 receptions on 86 targets. Very, very similar production as Tyreek on 283 more snaps. Yeah, and another thing is that I remember Andy Reid loved Maclin. They had number 10, probably going to be in Hall of Fame someday. I can't think. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. One of my all-time favorite players. Number 10. Played at Cal. Um, I had a miracle in the Meadowlands, number 3 for the Eagles. Dropped the punt with like 7 seconds and picked it up, ran for a touchdown. I can't think. Oh God, I am so embarrassed. I can't think of his name. So anyway, they had number 10. I one of my favorite players of all time, who I think will be in Canton someday. One of my all-time favorite players, one of Andy Reid's all-time favorite players, and they brought Macklin in to kind of help him out because he's a deep threat, but he only weighed like 170 pounds. I'm gonna say 170 in quotes because I think like he was much smaller than that, but he had Tyreek Hill speed. I just drive me nuts. Why can't I think of his name? Number 10. Everybody knows. Everybody knows who he is, and I can't think of his name. Yeah, and that Deshaun Jackson. I can't think. So they had Deshaun Jackson, and they really needed Macklin to come in and be Robin to Deshaun Jackson's Batman. They really needed that, so that's kind of part of it. So there's a lot of people like running backs turned wide receiver, and it's kind of funny because there's a lot of wide receivers that I think 30, 40 years ago would have been running backs. And it's just kind of the way the NFL is changing now. But and I think the Chiefs kind of moved up ahead of the times, and that's one of the greatest things about Andy Reid is he's staying ahead of the times. So really good thing. And this is something you're going to see more and more teams do. I think like high school, college, in NFL. But yeah, you're right. You are right. Hill, Hardman, Dat, Moore. Yeah. Well, I can't believe I couldn't think of Deshaun Jackson. By the way, Deshaun Jackson will be in Hall of Fame someday. Not a first ballot guy. But he will be in Canton someday. One of my favorite players, one of Andy Reid's favorite players. He's a guy that I always wanted the Chiefs to sign. If the Chiefs had like 3 or 4 receivers go down, I would love nothing more if the Chiefs brought in Deshaun Jackson. Like 40 years old. He can only run the go route, but who cares? I mean, I love Deshaun Jackson. Why couldn't I not remember his name? I had such a big man crush on Deshaun. There was a great article about Deshaun Jackson coming out of high school, and he was like visiting all the schools. And he went to Cal, and it was a big story because Cal at the time wasn't really known for football, and it was a big story about Deshaun Jackson, a 5-star player going to Cal of all places. So so I kind of followed his whole college career. And then it was a steal for the Eagles. The Eagles got him in the 2nd round. So I'm a huge Deshaun Jackson fan. He is going to be in Canton. The whole MLD thing is a MLD. I'm drawing a blank on what MLD is. I don't know why I'm thinking. I don't know why MLD's just wrong. I feel like I should know what that is. I'm just simply. Well, one thing about Deshaun Jackson is that he was also the punt returner. They also just had. I mean, the speed that he had was just unbelievable. And I don't care what he ran at the combine. I don't care what he was clocked at. On the field, he just had a different gear. And so what they did is they were trying to build the confidence up in Donovan McNabb at the time. Because Donovan McNabb, if you remember, there was Tim Couch and there was Donovan McNabb, and then the guy who went to Cincinnati. He was a complete bust. Ended up turning into a preacher, Achilles Smith. And people were kind of like on the fence about Donovan McNabb. I loved him coming out of Syracuse. He was so much fun to watch, but I didn't know if he could be an NFL quarterback. And he used his legs early, and he really couldn't process the whole offense. And they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. He's got a big arm. He can run. Let's just take this deep threat and throw him in there, and we'll just figure some other things out, because they were really struggling to try to kickstart Donovan McNabb. And once they got the deep threat there, because he always had a strong arm and he was always strong and athletic, it was just the rest of his game, he had issues with. So they used him as a decoy quite a bit early on. And then, it quickly, once they added Macklin with Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy, then it was like game on. And the Eagles had some really, really, really good teams. They went to, if I remember correctly, 4 straight NFC conference championship games. First 3 they lost. The last one, when they had T.O., they won, and then T.O. destroyed that team. And then Andy Reid, took, comes here. Thank you, T.O. you know what? Maybe more Chiefs fans should thank T.O. It never occurred to me until right now. Maybe we should thank T.O. for destroying that Eagles team. So we got Andy Reid. So thank you, T.O. Oh, Modern Life. Yeah. I'm actually a fan of his at times, but he posted some stuff that's like, he talked about getting hair plugs and surgery, and it's kind of like, it's okay. So it's good that you have the money to do that. I don't know. I do like some of his stuff. He's the indoor guy. I like MLD. I do, but I remember when he was posting, talking about the surgery he got and getting hair plugs, and he said, I'm just doing the same thing women are doing. And it's kind of like, it kind of made me groan, because it's kind of like, be a man, not do what a woman's doing. And I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have his success, and a fraction of his subscribers would be great. And hopefully, down the line, I can get those numbers just as he has. And I would be honored to meet the guy. Like, if I ever met the guy in person, man, I'd be like, man, I'm a big fan, and of course he watches this like, oh yeah. And, I'd be like, hey man, I'm sorry I said some things, but it just kind of makes me, I look better with a shaved head. You guys don't know this, but just take my word for it. I look better with a shaved head. Now, for these old school guys, I used to wear the cowboy hat all the time. The cowboy hat's awesome, but I just, I still keep it here. If Big Chief Sean invites me on his show, I have it ready for Big Chief Sean, who I'm really hoping gets back on YouTube, because he's fantastic. I'm about ready to wrap up. So anybody has some final thoughts? Definitely down to listen to anybody's final thoughts. Anybody has any questions? I kind of went off the rails a little bit. Like I said, it's been a rough couple weeks. But my top 10 tight ends of all time video is coming out Tuesday. I really want to hear you guys' opinion. And then starting July 17th, my NFL previews are going to come out. And just so you guys know, I'm going to do the same format. It's going to be 3 likes, 3 don't likes, schedule breakdown, Vegas odds breakdown, and then am I betting on the team or not? I'm going to try to keep each video. More than likely, it's probably going to be between 10 to 15 minutes for each one. But I'm going to put chapters in there. That way you guys can just cut and paste. Some of you guys aren't into sports betting, and that's going to be at the end. So that's kind of an advanced video. And some of you aren't going to care about, so a lot of you aren't going to watch that. Some of you are going to say, hey, let me jump all over this. So yeah, I'm going to jump to the gambling content, and that's something that hopefully there's a lot of engagement. And then if I mess up on some things, I also want you guys to let me know what I get wrong. So yep, I remember the cowboy. Yeah, I have it here. I just don't wear it anymore. So are there any fan bases that are overhyping their teams, right? Oh yes. Okay. I'm going to tell you the number one fan base I think that's really overhyping their team, and I probably shouldn't. I should probably wait till I start doing the breakdowns, and I get why the hype's there, but Miami. I think Miami is they're thinking that they're ready, and I'm looking at that AFC East. I don't see how. I don't see how Miami doesn't finish last. So, I'll tell you right now. I think Miami finishes dead last in the East. I really don't see how they can't. I really don't. I really don't. Another fan base I think that's going to be let down is I think the Bills. Even though I like their draft, I like what they've done in free agency. I think losing Leslie Frazier is going to be huge, and Trayvon Edmonds is really good. And I think Buffalo is a team that I think Buffalo. Here's the thing: I love what they did in the draft. They drafted they drafted two of my favorite players, and both of them are going to be day one starters. I think both are going to be really good. I also like them getting Leonard Floyd to go with Von Miller, but I mean, I don't see Von Miller playing 17. I just don't. And I think losing Frazier and losing Edmonds is huge. I think there's a lot of Bills fans that think that they're going to make the next step, and I think they're going to take a step back. And so I think the Bills and the Dolphins are two fan bases that are going to be pretty disappointed. I could say the Cowboys, but I mean, they think they're going to win the Super Bowl every year. So yeah, those two are the big ones: the Bills and the Dolphins. Fourth place in each division. I don't know about that. I'll tell you, I can give you a few. I think the Raiders are going to finish last. I think the Cardinals are going to finish last. I already said Miami, I think, is going to finish last. I'll be honest, I'm not sure about the AFC South. I do think Jacksonville is going to win that division, but the AFC South, it's I think sooner or later Will Levis is going to be the quarterback of the Titans. I think they throw him in early. That could be problematic, and then they could finish, maybe 7-10 late in that division, because I think Houston's a team that could be sneaky good. I have no idea. And then the Colts, if they start Anthony Richardson early, that could be disastrous. I think if you start Anthony Richardson day one, I think the Colts could go 4-13. I really do. And there's talent on that team, but I think if you start Richardson, that could be a really bad team, because I don't think he's even close to ready. And the owner's been public about wanting him to play right away, because it worked for Peyton Manning, it worked for Andrew Luck. But those guys had over 30 starts each in college, and Richardson had one season, and it's a completely different thing. When he sets on the foot in the NFL field the first time, it will be the first time he's not the best athlete on the field. And I don't know how he's going to handle that. So I couldn't give you an answer for the AFC South, but if they start Richardson day one, and I love Anthony Richardson, then I would probably say the Colts. AFC Central, I'm leaning towards the Browns, but the Browns are a team I'm also kind of circling, like watch out for them. Let's see here. NFC East, probably Washington, but I without Barkley, I have no idea how good the Giants are going to be. So I couldn't tell you there. NFC North, the Bears, maybe. I really want to see what Green Bay does. I think Green Bay could be a dumpster fire. They could be mediocre. The NFC North is going to be interesting. I think the NFC North is going to be interesting. I couldn't pick one. I'm not sold on Bears being bad. I don't think they're going to be good, but they may be better than Green Bay. The NFC South is going to be interesting also. I like the Saints to win the division, but after that, I think there's, you have three questionable quarterbacks. I mean, after the Saints, I mean, Desmond Ridder, who knows what he's going to do. It looks like Bryce Young's going to start day one for Carolina. What's the other team I'm forgetting about in the NFC South? I got Saints, Carolina, Atlanta. Oh, Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield. I mean, the NFC West. Oh yeah, Cardinals. So, I don't know about that. I'm okay. So the one problem, I don't know about that. So like I have no idea. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying you're doing anything. I don't know. I don't know that story. That's all I'm saying. I do like Andrew Tate. I do like Andrew Tate a lot. And the reason why I think Andrew Tate's one of the few guys that's like trying to be positive. And that's the whole thing about the channel I want to create a positive space. I think too much of the red pill community is tearing down women. And I think that there's been enough. Like, don't worry about what women are doing. Focus on yourself and do what you need to do, not what women are doing. Who cares? You know, do your thing, do you, and be the best version you can of yourself. And that's, you know, with business, with finances and physical fitness. And that's something we're definitely going to talk a lot about. So, but looks like that's going to be it. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in, talking football with me. Again, I apologize for last week. And I apologize about my tight end video being delayed, but it is going to be out Tuesday, and I can't wait to share the videos that are coming out on the 17th. I can't wait to get your input. By the way, all my social media links are below. Follow me on social media. DM me about anything you want to talk about. I'm all ears. Denver Gator has my number. Hey, Dan, you know, I think Keys has got my number as well, but he usually DMs me, but he texts me as well. Anyone you guys want my number, just let me know. Just shoot me a DM if you don't have it already. And oh, oh, what a great comment to end the show. Don't forget to smash the like button like Dan smashing a Big Bertha at a Katie concert. Just like that, we are out of here. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back next Friday.